G'day viewers, I'm Ben from Stanford Superstore, and today we'll look at setting up a chainsaw kit that'll work best for you. We'll focus on putting together a workbox, picking the right saw, standard features of today's saws, and some safety equipment. Here's a box we made up earlier. Just before we go through that, we'll just have a look at some safety gear. Chaps are probably the most important bit of safety gear you can buy. They protect your legs, and we all know that chainsaws can be a very dangerous tool when things go wrong. Depending on what sort of work you're doing, you may want to look at a complete helmet like this one. It gives you your full head protection, a mesh visor and your earmuffs. The alternatives to that are just an earmuff and a mesh visor, or an earmuff and a clear visor, depending on your application. The biggest advantage of a box is that you can keep it stored in the shed or something like that. You go and grab the box, everything's in there. So let's have a look at what fits inside it. Just a good, nice basic set of earmuffs, set of safety glasses. Gloves are essential, not just to protect you from the chainsaw, also from splinters and spiders and things like that when you're cutting wood. Rag is always very handy to have with you, and a spare chain. Obviously when using a saw, you've got to have the correct type of oil with you. So chain and bar oil fits in the box, and some two-stroke oil as well. Using a good two-stroke oil protects the life of the engine of the saw, and a good synthetic based oil means you can mix it at a lower ratio and the engine blows a lot less smoke. A good rule of thumb when you're talking about fuel and chain and bar oil is that you always fill both tanks up at the same time, and you'll run out of fuel before you run out of chain and bar oil. Also, as you notice on the front of the box here, you can store some files in there, and your scrench, which is needed for tensioning your chain and also for accessing your air cleaner. So you know all of that's with you. The operator's manual here as well is stored in the top, so if you've got any questions you can always refer back to that. Now that we've run through a bit of safety equipment and what you can get in a chainsaw kit, let's look at picking a saw that's right for you. With a chainsaw, there's no point in just getting the chainsaw with the biggest engine and the longest bar, because a lot of the time you're carrying around a much heavier saw than you need, and this leads to fatigue, which can lead to accidents. At Stanford Mowers, we have a huge range of saws on display, and we're always very interested in asking lots of questions before you buy a saw. Obviously what we want to know is what you're going to cut with it, what level of experience you've got, and many other questions. With all modern saws, like this one here, they all have a chain brake, which can be activated by your hand hitting it or via the saw flicking quickly. They have nice easy instructions on how to start the saw, and just a single lever that puts choke on and turns the ignition on, nice and easy. An air purge here, which really helps with starting the saw both when it's cold and hot. The starters generally have a double spring, so they're nice and easy to start. And the anti-vibration system, as you can see under here, with the metal springs, means there's less vibration transferred through your hands. Once you've picked the right saw for the job, you can then have a look at some of the accessories that make your chainsawing even easier. Things like a combi can here, which allow you to put your fuel in one side, your chain and bar oil in the other. Nice handy little container here you can put a spare chain in, and room around on this side to store some files. They've also got some non-spill pourers that clip onto each side here to minimise the risk of getting fuel or oil spilt all over your saw. Whenever you're using a saw, the chain, obviously keeping the chain sharp is a very, very important thing. A basic chain sharpening kit like that one is a good thing to have, just to put an edge back on your saw. You've also got 12 volt ones if you've got a vehicle close by that have a nice little file guide set on the top of them there. These days, obviously battery powered products have become very popular, and chain sharpening is no different. So this one here, again, it's got the guide there for when you're going through and putting the edge back on your saw, but has the convenience you don't need a power source. So that's a very handy one to have. If you're doing a lot of cutting, Back in your workshop, you can set up something like this. They're easy and affordable, and they get your chain back to being exactly right. All the angles will be exactly the same, which puts less stress on your bar. We also have a wide range of accessories, such as saws, little bow saws, hand saws, tomahawks, right through to splitters. Spare chains, very important to get the right size chain for your saw. As most saws, there's a large amount of different chains available on the market. So that's it. With a huge range of saws in store, we cover every need. Remember, every saw we sell is ready to go, and we'll show you how to get the best out of your chainsaw. We hope to see you soon at stanfordmowers.com.au, or come and see us in store at 590 Main North Road, Jepps Cross. Thank you.